aka Vinny Vegan, aka the Gangster Vegan. So I just want to welcome you all here today. A little bit about myself. I am 35 years old. I am the owner, creator, founder of Gangster Vegan Organics in Norristown, Pennsylvania. That is where I'm from. I was born and raised in Norristown, Pennsylvania. We are an all raw, organic, vegan juice bar and cafe. And like I said, I'm 35 years old. I became a vegan about 5 years ago. Prior to being a vegan, I lived a whole other crazy lifestyle. I lived a rock star lifestyle. When I was 22, I moved to Los Angeles, California, and I started making T-shirts, and I was wearing them out in Hollywood. I was going to the club every night, and I started attracting celebrities, ball players, rappers, celebrities, actors. They were all gravitated to my T-shirt, and I was making these one by one. They were like Swarovski, crystal, hip hop, extravagant T-shirts. And it turned into this huge business. I didn't know anything about business. I turned it into a business, made a few $1 million. I partied every night like a rock star. I went on private jets. I bought Range Rovers and Benzes and Bentleys, and you name it. Just a fast life. And that went on for about 9 years. You know, I made a few million, lost a few million, made a few million, lost a few million. It was this roller coaster ride. And in about 2009, 2010, that had all ended, like in one swipe. And I always say, like, God had hit me with a thunderous blow and took everything from me. Took all the cars, all the money, all the women, all the houses, and kind of just left me naked, left me with me. All the people left me, all my friends left me, my family was abandoned, and I was really dealt with me. I had no more cars, I had no more money, I had no more cell phone, I couldn't talk. And in this like down period, I was like really down. And I've had down moments where like, oh, I'll get back up, you know, we'll get a nice T-shirt order, we'll get 100 grand, 200 grand, and we'll just be back to partying again. And I couldn't get back up this time. And I just said, I'm gonna stay down and I'm just gonna listen to the higher power. There was a higher power speaking to me. And I stopped smoking cigarettes. That was the first thing. I smoked cigarettes for 15 years. And I put the cigarettes down. Probably because I couldn't afford it. I went from, I said, I was living in penthouses and I lived in the gym. I started living in the gym where I lived for 8 years, where I paid high rent and had the 5-car garage and all this stuff. I was living in the gym and I was like very humble. I started walking every day. And in my moment of like trying to find clarity, I stopped smoking cigarettes. And then I stopped drinking Red Bulls. And then I stopped drinking Gatorade. And I stopped eating Skittles and Starburst and Funyuns. Like, boy, I love Funyuns, you know. And so like kind of being, I came from nothing. So like having money was like, where are we going? We're going to Miami, we're going to Vegas, we're going to Europe. And so I would eat at 5-star restaurants and I would eat at 7-Eleven and Wawa. So my spectrum was like, I ate everything. I didn't really care about my food. My food was like the last thing I cared about. And so in this moment, I was stopping things that weren't benefiting me in my life. So the people, the Starburst, the Skittles, the Funyuns, the cheesesteaks, one by one, I was just stopping these things out of my life. And I went on this journey. I started walking 10 miles a day and really finding out who I was. I went on this like profound journey of like, who am I and what do I represent? And in this journey of like stopping things, somebody had put a fresh pressed organic juice in front of me. And I was like fascinated. At 29 years old, I've never had a fresh pressed juice ever in my life. That's when I came to the realization that I grew up off of Tropicana and Minute Maid and like High C, Hawaiian Punch. Like that's how I grew up. You know, I grew up Pop-Tarts, microwaves, things like that. And I didn't know what real food was. So I kind of was going through this profound like detoxing of things that didn't benefit my life. And down to my deodorant, like I was questioning everything. And I had this fresh pressed organic orange juice. And it changed my life in that moment. I was like, whoa, what is this? And the young guy who had presented it to me, he said, it's the organic fresh pressed juice. And I said, wow, well, I'm gonna work hard so I can come here and get juice every day. So I will go scrounge up 20 bucks and go buy juice every day. And I went on this journey of like juicing and pushing things out of my life. And I came to the conclusion that I was becoming a vegan. So one, living in LA, two, being like an urban, kind of street guy, hip hop influence. The thought of vegan, when I heard vegan, living in LA, was like, like yogi, like, feminine. Like I wanted to assume like to be masculine. Like I was like, what kind of man doesn't eat meat? Like that didn't register with me. And when I went on this journey, I started telling relatives what was happening to me, and she was like, "Oh, it sounds like you're becoming vegan." And I was like, "No, I'm not vegan. No way. What kind of man doesn't eat meat?" So I came to the conclusion that like the meat didn't settle right with me. It was the last thing for me, and I gave up meat, and I made a commitment to go vegan. This is like after a year of journey. This was 5 years ago, and I said, "All right, I'll take this on, becoming a vegan." And then I like went on this vegan journey. My life started getting better, back in order. I got an apartment I shared with a couple girls, and like they put me on to like the vegan lifestyle. And I started going to vegan restaurants, and I was like still bumping my rap music. I was still like, street, and people were like, "Oh, you're vegan? You don't look vegan," right? So I was getting kind of like the reverse of what I thought a vegan was. And they're like, "You don't sound vegan, you don't talk vegan, you don't dreadlocks, you have shoes on, you wear Nike." So the conceptualization of what a vegan was like, it was one way. And I feel like that's kind of still how it is. So what I did was I started making T-shirts again. For me, I was like, I don't want to go back to that place. I don't want to go back to the club, to the strip clubs, and like, drinking and partying and spending all this money. So like, I attached like T-shirts with that. So I was like, I never want to ever make another T-shirt in my life. And so I ended up making another T-shirt in my life, and it said Gangster Vegan on it. And I started wearing it everywhere. I call it Veganville. So in LA, they have like a tight-knit vegan community and a lot of vegan restaurants. So I was going like Veganville, wearing my shirts, bumping my rap music. And they were like, "Oh, this guy's different. He doesn't really fit into our mold." And I learned veganism from this community, and it opened me up to a whole nother life that I wasn't even privy to. It was like, if it wasn't the culture that was like brainwashing me, it wasn't anything beneficial. I wasn't open to. So I took on like, all right, I'm Gangster Vegan, I'm wearing these shirts, and I befriended a lot of vegan restaurant owners in California. And I really took on like, I don't want to fall into, and I didn't have money at the time, but I didn't want to fall into the mode of like, I can't afford it, it's too expensive, it's too time consuming, I don't have the time. So I really took on like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to do it for myself. So I bought a little juicer, I bought a little blender, and I just started experimenting at my house. And then I started going to vegan restaurants, and I befriended vegan restaurant owners. And they really just showed me the whole like veganism basically. And then I learned like raw veganism, which is like a whole nother level to it. So when I first became vegan, I was eating veggie burgers and the fake meats and things like that. And where I am now, I'm into raw foods. And I just ran with the Gangster Vegan thing for a little bit, and people were like, "Oh, we love that shirt. What does it represent? Oh, we love the shirt. Oh, we love the shirt." So I went back to my hometown in Norristown, Pennsylvania 2 years ago because it was calling me. So I took what I learned from California and I went back to Norristown. And I said, I want to give this a shot and see like what the response is in the little urban town that I grew up, to see how they would respond to me putting vegan food in front of their life. And these are like urban guys. These are people who like don't do yoga. They don't like, meditate. They're not open to anything. So I went home, I stayed with a friend for 30 days, and I started selling juices out of his house, and it like took off. It was like, I always say I had like thugs and gangsters coming to my house, like buying juice. People who probably wouldn't be open to this lifestyle, who their conceptualization of it was one way, just like mine, started just like being open to it. And I went on a year of like just selling juice out of my friend's house. And then I stayed in my hometown, moved back, and I opened up Gangster Vegan Organics last November. And it's been doing like amazing. I was like scared. I was like, is the name too scary? We're in West Norton, Pennsylvania. Like, what's gonna happen? And from day one, the responses have been amazing. And I get to really like pioneer a movement in my community that I grew up in of like health and wealth. And my best friend had quit his job as an executive chef. He was getting 70 grand a year. He quit his job to like way lower pay to run my shop. He's lost almost 90 pounds in the last year. He's transformed his life to a plant-based lifestyle. He has his family all on it. I mean, he was, 400 something pounds. And I get to be that influence, and I get to be that change in my community. And I also get to like give back. I feed kids every Monday night, free hot organic vegan meal. Every Monday, any kid that comes in will get a free meal 5 to 7 p.m. And it's a day and night change from the lifestyle I live, and I credited it all to food, the food as my source. And God, because there is a spiritual connection. And for me, my God was like money. It was money, it was women, it was cars, it was partying. That was like my God. And I was successful at it. Like I was really good at like making money and partying and like really just being a jerk, and I pushed everybody that I loved out of my life because like they don't understand what I'm going through, they don't understand this lifestyle. And then like when I hit bottom and I humbled out, that's when this awakening had happened, and I just rolled with it. So if there's, I just wanted to know how many vegans or vegetarians do we have here right now? Okay, so how many people have like less than a year been vegan or vegetarian? Okay, how about like a year to 3 years? How about 5 years, 5 to 10 years? How about past 10 years? Awesome. Past 20 years? 25? Wow, awesome. That's awesome. So for me, I was late to the party, and I was like, when I became a vegan, I was like, whoa, boy, was I wrong about this conception. I was late to the party, but I now get a second chance in life to like kind of rewrite some of the wrongs I had done in my past, and it's such a beautiful feeling. And I lost a lot of friends, I lost a lot of friends and family members just by going vegan, because a lot of people don't accept it and they think it's so extreme. But it has done something for me, it has done something for my family, it has done something for my community. And it's just amazing transformation. I always wish like I could have credited, like I watched a video or I read a book or I was like, I want to be vegan. Like I was fighting it to the end. Like, like I'm not giving this chicken up or this cheese. I'm Italian. Like we eat cheese. It's just the way it is, So my mission is when I became a vegan and opening the store is that we make food that is flavorful, because my conception, and a lot of people's conception is that we're just eating salad all day, or we're eating carrots all day, we're chewing on carrots, which we do, but we make very, very like exotic, flavorful food, and we make it hip, and I cater it to be hip, especially for the kids, because a lot of kids nowadays are like looking up to the culture, like I did. They're looking up to like rap music and like violence and things like that, and there is a direct connection to the food as well. High fructose corn syrup, the meat, things like that. So I definitely cater more to children because they're easy to get through to. And I go into schools, I make smoothies for kids, I just raise as much money as I can to go do these things in my community and in other communities. And it's just an amazing feeling. And to think like all of it just shifted and transitioned through food. I can't put it any clearer than, going to a plant-based diet and what it can do for people. And when I start to forget the change it has done for me, I start to see it in other people and other people around me. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like I have a couple of customers who are doing 30 days vegan and they're losing like weight like they wouldn't believe, and I get to see them smile. For me, I didn't have a smile. I had millions of dollars, I had all these cars, and like I didn't have that smile. And like every day now I wake up and I'm blessed, and it's just like it's genuine and it's authentic, and it has all come from a plant-based diet. And I just, oh man, it moves me every time I think about it. It really does. That some kind of higher power had pulled me out of where I was and put me where I am now, and is like using me as a vehicle to preach about like veganism. And it's not even just veganism, it's just about like compassion. I wasn't into that at first. Like I didn't watch the documentaries, I wasn't thinking about the animals. But the more you get into it, it's like, man, we're mean. Like we're mean. I think we're mean people. And then we're angry, and then we're frustrated. For me, I was like so angry, like angry and violent. Like if you say one thing to me, it's like I'm jumping over the counter and we're gonna get down. And it's like I don't have that anymore. Yeah, it's like for what? You know, why get angry? But like I said, a lot of it has to do with the meat and the dairy. So I'm just blessed to be here, and I'm glad you guys are here. We have a booth. We are selling food. We are selling juices. We have all organic cold pressed juices. We have watermelon juice. We have green juice. We have some taco salads, falafel wraps. Everything is all raw and all organic. And one thing for me that is important is like the integrity and the love that go into the food, because it's becoming a big thing now. Veganism and health and wellness is becoming a big business, and there's a lot of people that just want to capitalize off of it for the monetary. And for me, it's about sacred commerce. So it's about like what we do with the money, how we put it back into communities. And I use all organic produce, and I don't sacrifice that at all. I don't cut corners on anything, because it's like, it's one thing to really just sell fruits and vegetables, but it's another thing to sell organic. You know, I pay a little extra so the customers can really get an integral product. You know, we try to be as waste-free. We use glass jars for our juices. And for me, that's become something on my journey that has become very important. Because, you know, you don't know who's growing the produce or what they're spraying and things like that. So that's where I am, and just getting started on this journey. I'm 5 years vegan. I say I'm mostly raw, 80–90% raw. I do eat some cooked meals here and there. I try to stay away from the fake meats. I think they're amazing for like people transitioning, or if you have friends or family, like just make them cool, you know, fake meat type meal, and they're like, oh, that's vegan, oh, it's awesome, you know, and just like really break the stereotype, because I'm sure you guys get it, you know, the ones that are like 20 years plus vegan. I can imagine what you guys were going through 20 years ago. You know, I met a guy who was like, I was vegan in the 50s, 60s. They put me in a mental hospital because they thought I was crazy, you know? And it's like, I get it. For me, in the beginning of my journey, everybody thought I was crazy. They were like, this guy was like this, doing this. He was Hollywood, and now he's like a vegan. He is crazy. And those are the same people now, because I stayed consistent and I stayed on my purpose. I didn't let anybody knock me off of my purpose, my God-driven purpose. And those same people are now the people coming in like, help me, I'm sick, I'm not feeling well. You know, my wife is sick, my kids are sick. You know, let me try this juice, help me, help me. So for me, it's like, you know, just keep fighting through that. It gets very discouraging, I know it, I've been there. But we have to take a stand as vegans, because my goal is to turn the whole world vegan. And that's like a big game. It's a big game I'm playing, yeah. I mean, there's 8 billion people in the world. Like, that's the big game. So I'm out to play that game. If you guys want to play that game with me, that would be awesome. I am on social media. I have like a huge following. I'm like trying to build that up more and reach people. It's easier to reach people that way and get out to them on social media and just get the word out there. And sometimes my delivery is harsh. It's a little gangster. But it's like there's a sense of urgency, and there's a sense of I'm very passionate about it. You know, I'm not saying, hey, I'm gonna strangle you if you don't go vegan, but there is a sense of like, hey, you know, wake up, what's going on? You know, especially in the kids. All these kids are sick with allergies and this and that, and they don't want to open up to the connection of the food, you know, to the ailments. Yeah. So I really appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me share. Oh yeah, any questions? Yes. Mm-hmm. So at my store, we do juice cleanses and we do raw food cleanse. So like a raw food cleanse would be like 2 juices. So we drink 2 fresh pressed juices. We have 2 smoothies. So we'd have, you know, like a lot of protein in the smoothies. We use chia seeds, hemp seeds, greens, stuff like that. And then 2 raw meals. So like our raw meals, we have like a taco salad. It's like romaine with pico de gallo, a walnut taco meat, avocado cashew cream sauce. We make a cilantro date dressing. We do wraps. We make like a raw lasagna out of heirloom tomatoes, and like a regatta cheese made out of Brazil nuts. Yeah, I did in the beginning, but I make like awesome vegan cheeses. Yeah, we use like nut cheese, Brazil nut cheeses, cashew cheeses, and I have my friends who are my chefs who like quit their jobs as chefs, and they're like making awesome stuff, and they're losing weight. They were like huge chefs. I have 2 of them, and they're shrinking down to nothing. One was ready to kill himself before he came to work for me. He said he was ready to hang himself, and he's 500 pounds. He's down to 400 now. I mean, he's just like lit up. He's 40 years old, and he had no sense of like where he was going. He's just eating himself away. It is. I would say like if you want to transition into raw, maybe do like raw till 4. It's a new thing now. Like you just raw out all day, and then you go home and eat a cooked meal like around, you know, before 7, 8 o'clock, and then you just stop there. And that's what I do. I'll go raw for a long time, and then I'll just throw in a little hot meal. Because for me, I feel like the hot meal like gives me that smooth move. Sometimes like the raws is very damp, there's a lot of roughage, so you know you can get backed up. And like the lady said before, you need a lot of fiber. So if you're not getting like powdered fiber, you get it from your flax, you know, from your smoothies, things like that. But yeah, I mean, I would say just it's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of preparation, and that's why I opened up my store, you know, so I can have help, you know, to make food so that I can eat. Because it's a job, it's a full-time job. But if we can put that like kind of first, because sometimes we wake up, we put like our bills first, we put like our family first, which I get, you know, but if we're not right, how are we going to support our family, our community, you know? And it's real easy to like wake up and be like, oh, I gotta pay the bills, I gotta go to work, I don't have time to make a smoothie, you know, I don't have time to like make a water with lemon in it. So it's like preparation, really. That's the hardest part. For me, that was the hardest part. Transitioning was the preparation. But I think going into the raw food, it's awesome. You know, it's like it won't hurt you either. Pick up a carrot, just bite it, some cucumber. You know, eat a lot of those during the day. And then if you want to offset it with a cooked meal, that's great. But the cooked food really like there's no nutrient. You kind of cook away all the enzymatic value and all the nutrient out of it. Yeah, and for me, I would never thought I'd be talking like this ever in my life. I would never thought I'd be at Whole Foods, I'd be doing yoga, I'd be hugging another grown man. Like that was never in my life, you know? And I'm so like open up to like growing and growing and growing and being an influence for positivity for people in my community or just wherever I go. And it's awesome, you know? It really is. You know, I did a complete 180. And I'm just blessed to be here because I lost a lot of friends along the way. You know, I lost friends to cancer, I lost friends to the streets, you know, so I'm just blessed to still be here, you know? And the road I was heading down, I was heading down that destructive path. So it's like, I'm trying to bring as many people as I can with me before I go. And I just want to thank you guys. Is there any other questions? Awesome. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I had experience, good.
There you go. I'm not lying. There you go. I didn't pay her. Over here, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I just recently watched Cowpiracy, and I was like, wow. Yeah. Just like, yeah. That's the way we were like programmed, right? Yeah. And it was that's where you get your protein. It's like the silverback gorilla, you know, was one of the biggest. Yeah, it's like they eat plants. Yeah. So, I just go like the protein thing. I always say it's a myth. Like, don't fall into it, you know, because I never heard anybody dying from a lack of protein. I hear people dying from cancer and heart disease and diabetes and things like that all the time. I never heard like, oh, you know, Jenny, she died from a lack of protein. Never ever in my life heard that. So like, you know, people are gonna say that. It's like, yeah, I don't know, I get my protein. You know, like I don't think I'm in a lack of protein division. You know, but yeah, I do eat a lot of avocados and seeds, flax seeds, and sunflower seeds, things like that. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for letting me share. Appreciate it.